Think about the device in your pocket right now. Sleek, powerful, and essential to your daily life. But what if I told you that less than 40 years ago, a cell phone looked more like a brick than a gadget? Today, we're diving into the hidden history of cell phone design. A story of trial and error, bold ideas, and the inventions that shaped our modern world. From clunky giants of the 80s to today's foldable glass wonders, this is the untold story of how the cell phone became, well, the center of your universe. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at your phone the same way again. Before cell phones, the world depended on landlines. Big, clunky machines that kept you tied to one spot. In the early 20th century, communication was a luxury. Imagine this: if you were out of the house and needed to call someone, your only option was a payphone, if you could find one. But engineers already had a dream, a phone that you could carry anywhere. Radio technology during World War II gave the first glimpse of this idea, soldiers communicating wirelessly across the battlefield. These military experiments planted the seed for what would later become the mobile phone. But here's the twist. The very first mobile phone wasn't sleek, stylish, or even remotely practical. In fact, when people first saw it, they laughed. Want to know why? Let's jump to the 1980s. The year is 1983. Motorola launches the world's first commercial handheld mobile phone, the Dynatac 8000X. It weighed almost 2 pounds, was over a foot tall, and cost nearly $4,000. That's more than $10,000 in today's money. Owning one wasn't just about making calls. It was a status symbol. CEOs, Hollywood stars, and Wall Street hotshots flashed these giant bricks like trophies. But here's the funny part. The battery barely lasted 30 minutes. Imagine paying a fortune just to make a few short calls before your phone died. Still, the 80s phone craze had begun. These devices represented freedom. For the first time, you could call someone while walking down the street, sitting in your car, or even standing in line at the bank. The idea of mobility was revolutionary. But here's the secret most people don't know. The real design revolution wasn't about making phones powerful. It was about making them smaller. And in the 1990s, that challenge completely changed the game. As the 90s arrived, engineers realized something big. If cell phones were ever going to become mainstream, they had to shrink. And so began the race to make phones smaller, lighter, and more stylish. Enter the flip phone, Motorola's StarTAC in 1996. Suddenly you had a phone that could fold neatly into your pocket. It looked futuristic, almost like something out of Star Trek. People didn't just use their phones, they showed them off. Then came Nokia. And this is where things got personal. These phones weren't just tools, they became cultural icons. Long battery life, the famous snake game, and those indestructible designs that could survive a drop from the second floor. Nokia ruled the world. And let's not forget SMS. Text messaging exploded in the late 90s. Suddenly people weren't just talking, they were typing. Teenagers especially turned texting into a whole new culture. Abbreviations, late-night chats, and the first version of what we now call instant messaging. But here's the twist. While everyone was busy playing Snake and flipping phones open, a quiet storm was brewing. A company in California was about to launch a device that would change not just phone design, but the way we live our daily lives. And in 2007, it hit the world like a bombshell. January 9th, 2007. Steve Jobs walks onto the stage in San Francisco and says, "Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone." Up until that moment, phones had buttons, antennas, and small screens. But Apple's iPhone was different. It was sleek, had a giant touchscreen, no physical keyboard, and it combined 3 devices into one: a phone, an iPod, and an internet communicator. People were stunned. Some thought it was impossible. A phone without buttons? But within months, the iPhone became a cultural phenomenon. Suddenly, design wasn't just about making calls. It was about apps, music, photos, and internet access. And here's the thing, Apple didn't just launch a product, they launched a design philosophy. Thin, minimal, glass and metal. Overnight, old designs started to look outdated. The iPhone set the gold standard. But hold on, Apple wasn't the only player in town. Just as the iPhone was taking over, another giant stepped into the arena, ready to challenge Apple's vision. And what followed was a design war that would shape the next decade. The 2010s became the battleground of design. On one side, you had Apple, sticking to its signature sleek minimalism. Glass on the front, aluminum on the back, one home button, and a user experience that felt premium. On the other side, Android manufacturers, Samsung, HTC, LG, Google, were experimenting like crazy. Bigger screens, removable batteries, curved displays, styluses, even the first attempts at waterproofing. Where Apple believed in uniform design, Android believed in freedom of choice. Remember the Galaxy Note? When Samsung released it in 2011, critics called it too big. But within years, Apple had to introduce the iPhone Plus series to keep up. The so-called phablet design had won. This rivalry wasn't just about tech, it was about identity. Apple users saw their phones as a luxury lifestyle product. Android users enjoyed customization, variety, and innovation. And this clash pushed cell phone design to evolve at lightning speed. But here's the thing. While Apple and Android were battling it out, the real future of phone design was quietly taking shape. Phones weren't just getting bigger or faster. They were starting to bend, fold, and even disappear into our everyday lives. Let's jump into the modern era. Fast forward to today. Cell phone design is in its most experimental phase since the iPhone launch. Samsung, Huawei, and Motorola are bringing back the flip, but with a twist. Foldable smartphones, screens that bend like paper, turning a phone into a tablet in seconds. It's a mix of nostalgia and cutting-edge engineering. At the same time, phones have become more minimal than ever. Bezels are shrinking, buttons are disappearing, and entire cameras pop out or hide under the screen. The design goal today? A seamless slab of glass that feels futuristic in your hand. And then there's AI integration. Your phone isn't just a device anymore. It's an assistant. It predicts your habits, finishes your sentences, and soon may even replace other gadgets you own. Voice commands, smart photography, and real-time translations are redefining what design really means. But here's the million-dollar question. If we've gone from bricks to foldables in just 40 years, what comes next? The future of cell phone design might be something you can't even see yet. So, what does the future hold for cell phone design? If history has taught us anything, it's that the phone will never stay the same for long. We're already seeing concepts of transparent phones, wearable devices, and even implantable chips that could one day replace the need for a handheld device altogether. Imagine unlocking your car, making a payment, or calling someone, all without pulling a phone out of your pocket. Then there's augmented reality. Companies are working on glasses that could project your apps and messages directly into your vision. Your phone might not even be a phone. It could be Invisible technology woven into your daily life. One thing's for sure, the next chapter of cell phone design won't just change how our devices look. It will change how we live, connect, and even think. And here's the kicker. 20 years from now, people might laugh at our smartphones the same way we laugh at those giant 80s bricks. History, after all, has a funny way of repeating itself. So, from bulky bricks to foldable glass, the cell phone has gone through one of the fastest and most fascinating design journeys in human history. What started as a luxury for the few has become an essential part of everyday life for billions. The story of cell phones isn't just about technology. It's about us, our culture, and the way we choose to connect. If you enjoyed uncovering this hidden history, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with a friend who can't live without their phone, and subscribe to Common Curiosities for more stories that reveal the secret past of everyday things. Because history is closer than you think.